One. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's album review. Took me a while to remember that. We don't have any albums to review. No one's requested anything, which is a shame. So we're going to, thumbs down. So we're going to have to choose one ourselves, randomly though, of course. So I'm going to press the button here, which says rerun, and then we're going to get a choice of 3 albums that Brett is going to choose. We'll choose one of them. So there we go. So random albums. You've got Hello Sadness by Los Campesinos, All the Right Reasons, special edition by Nickelback, or Payphone by Maroon 5 Wiz Khalifa. These are supposed to be random albums, but that's a song. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But if you choose that one, if it's not an album, then I guess we could just find the album that song's from and just do that one. So, Brett, what are you thinking? I'm pretty sure we've done a Maroon 5 album, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely seems familiar, but then I forget, maybe we've done it previously before we recorded it, or but yeah, I think we did. I think the one because I originally had songs about Jane, potentially. I can't remember if we recorded that one, but if we did, we may have already done Maroon 5. I'm going to just come out and say, I think I'm going to pick Nickelback. Because I think we may have done Maroon 5 already. The first one, not sure what that or who they are. Nickelback, no. I only know probably 1 or 2 of their songs, and then maybe 1 or 2 of the lead singer's Chad Roder's songs. And it's that sort of, it's meant to be like rock music, but it's not, is it? From the songs I know, it's a bit more sort of easily listened to than that, but they look really rocky when they don't come across like that. So again, it'd be nice to see some of the back catalogue. It'd be interesting to see what else there is to Nickelback. And again, I don't know if that's a new album, an old one, their main album. So let's try a bit of Nickelback.
What's it called? Nickelback, All the Right Reasons. All the Right Reasons. Let's have a look. Right, I'm going to share the screen and we'll see exactly what we've got. So I think it did say the special edition version, so I guess we'll have to go for that. So it's the 5th studio album, released in 2005, so it's quite old. It says it's their best-selling album to date. So length is 41 minutes, 33 seconds, although it might be a bit longer if we go for the special edition version. So it's classed as post-grunge, alternative rock, alternative metal, hard rock, heavy metal. So, I don't know, this might put your, I don't know, what's the word, that what you just said about them to the test. Kind of describe them as not very rocky, but I don't know.
No, but that's the whole point, because I think they are perceived by that. But like I said, from the songs that the minimal songs I know, I wouldn't put it in that bracket. So it'd be interesting if their back catalogue is the same, or if it is more real hardcore rocky stuff. Really.
Photograph, I know. This is I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure I know Photograph.
I think I know Rockstar maybe, but then I'm not sure. The last track.
What's their real big hits?
The biggest one is this is How You Remind Me.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to try and sing it just in case the video gets blocked.
Yeah, I think your singing has to be really, really good for that to get blocked, wouldn't it? For it to recognise it, right? Okay, so the special edition is just a 2-set disc set and includes a Nickelback wallpaper as well as 3 live tracks. So you want to go for that as well? Or it's not really worth it because it's just live tracks of the same songs that are already on there?
Yeah, that's true. What was there a bonus track, like Japanese edition? Anything there to take? Or just a live version of Someday?
Or a remix version of Photograph? Well, you tell me.
Yes, let's just keep it as it is. Let's do the classic album.
Classic.
Imagine we had the poster.
Actually, the poster. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm okay with this. Bit of a throwback. Yeah, I haven't heard Nickelback for a while. I don't think I'm going to overly like this, but be interested to see if there's a few songs there that I do remember. Like as I said, Photograph. Pretty sure I do know that one, but I can't like actually remember the words or the tune of it. We'll see. And maybe there's a few more on there, like you mentioned. There's one that you know as well. You think Rockstar, I think you said. Let's see. Okay, so Nickelback it is. We'll be back then in a few seconds, having reviewed the album for you. Thank you, and see you in a second. So we've now listened to the album. So let's go through it. So yeah, Nickelback, All the Right Reasons is the name of it. Brett, do you want to tell us what you thought of it?
Yeah, I'll do my very best. Because to be honest, I don't feel to have a lot of sort of notes on this one. I think that the interest is interesting. It's probably not that interesting. The thing from the album that I got from it, you've clearly got two sides to Nickelback. You've got your very sort of rocky side to Nickelback, and then you've got the complete opposite. I don't even know what sort of genre it's called. It's like soft, maybe soft rock, or just sort of the emotional side of things of Nickelback. And it's fair to say, from the album, I definitely prefer the sort of slower, more emotional songs that are probably on there, which is probably what some of the bigger hits are. So I don't recognise any of their rockier ones being that. And otherwise, all those sort of rocky hits were quite the same. In my opinion, there were differentials, of course, but otherwise, it was just sort of I wasn't there. But then it was the other tracks that, there was one song that we both said we recognised, I really liked, and I thought, oh, this is probably going to be one of the standout songs. Then a couple other ones that came up, and actually really quite like those. So much so there would be one or two I would put on a potential playlist. So yeah, it's really like these two sides of Nickelback, and as I said, I preferred the sort of softer side to what they had done. Not that I really hated the rockier side; it wasn't that bad, but it was just interesting to have these sort of two contrasting sides. It'd be interesting to know real Nickelback fans what they generally prefer, because, like I said, their hits seem to be the not so rocky ones that they've always had a hit with.
Yeah. So in a strange kind of way, I sort of quite like this album. I say that, like, I mean, a lot of it's not my cup of tea, but I can't really criticize that. Like, I just don't really like, hard music generally. So, but I've tried to be as, fair as I can. So, firstly, I would say, I don't know who the lead, I don't even know anything about this group, like how many people are in it or anything, but I just put here, the Nickelback voice is like very stands out. Like very kind of, I don't know if it's iconic is the right word, but just sort of stands out. You can always kind of tell, like, oh, that's Nickelback. And I just think his voice is very well suited to, sort of heavy rock or metal music. It's that kind of voice, so it works well. I was impressed by the variety of songs. There was a mixture of what I've got as hard rock / metal, ballads, less intense rock songs. So I think that's why I said I kind of like this album to an extent, because there were different sides to it. If this had just been like real hard, intense throughout, then I wouldn't have liked it. But the fact you never quite knew what sort of song was going to come next. So I did like that side to it. Kind of like what you were saying there about the two sides. So we'll go through each song. So the first one then was Follow You Home, which I've described as a relatively slow, heavy rock song. Good vocal work, nice instrumental work, but it's not my thing. It's just too heavy for me. But saying that, for a heavy song, it's still not too bad. It's still listenable. But maybe I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because it's the first song.
So I've kind of sort of written the same sort of things along those sort of lines there. It's really weird because it still feels really contrary to what we're saying. So it feels really rocky, but at the same time, it's not fast rocky. It's still quite slow, and it felt it could be rockier. That's it. What I really noticed when I found about this is it felt very like almost like country music. It was like sort of country music meets rock. Now, whether that's sort of lead singer Chad Roder, I think it's pronounced, because he's got that sort of, hasn't he got that husky, as you were saying, that sort of ideal voice for sort of rock / metal music that gives it also that sort of country sort of feel to it. But I thought it was an okay intro start to the album. And I said, felt rocky, but also felt it could have been a lot rockier. And I said it's weird because it was kind of slow as well at the same time. And I felt there was times it was like a voice changer, so the voice changed a little bit through it. But I said I think it was just an okay start to the album.
So then we had Fight for All the Wrong Reasons. Has some quieter singing parts to it. I'd say this was no worse than the first song. Probably on a par. Another typical hard rock / metal song. Perhaps this one feels more metal than the previous one in parts of the song. There was an interesting echo part towards the end that I felt was quite good. Maybe a nice effect. I felt there was generally quite a bit of variety within the song itself, different parts to it. But ultimately, like the first song, it was still too hard for me to say that I liked it.
Again, very similar. Where obviously I've said it felt very similar to the first one. The only difference being this probably had more metal elements to it, and it felt like there was more different elements to this particular one as well. So we've got sort of rocky, metal, a bit slow. So there's lots of sort of stuff going on there. I was more intrigued by sort of the title really, because we've got the main album called All the Right Reasons. There's no other songs along those lines apart from this one where it says Fight for All the Wrong Reasons. So I don't know why they didn't call the album All the Wrong Reasons, or why not call the song Fight for All the Right Reasons. There's probably a reason. I just found that a bit more intriguing what that was all about really.
Mm-hmm. Then we had Photograph. This is a very well-known song. Like I knew this song. I just kind of needed to hear it, to remember it exactly. And I put here, I think this is what Brett was thinking of when he said that Nickelback aren't that heavy. Because after the first two songs, that felt pretty heavy to me. Like I said, it's not like super, super, super heavy, but it's like it's not my cup of tea, those first two songs. Whereas this one, now we're talking. So this definitely feels more mainstream. So I can see why this was released and became a hit. I don't know how well it did. I didn't check, but it's a well-known Nickelback song and much better than the previous two songs for me. More like a kind of rock ballad I've put here. I've always actually quite liked this. Not like really, really liked it, but yeah, I've always quite liked it. Doesn't get too heavy, this one, and I enjoyed it. It's a good solid song.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, can't really say much more different to that really. Like you recognise the song, not well enough to be able to sing it, I only knew once I heard it, I'd know it was what song it was. And yeah, as you say, it's just a really nice sort of rock ballad. And like I said, it's really interesting to have these two complete sides. And as we said, obviously this was a release song. And you can see why potentially that it appeals to likes of me and you in the nicest possible way. And that's what I was asking at the start. You know, like Nickelback fans, do they, when they buy the album, when they listen to it, do they like listening to? They might probably listen to both. Can't not. I'm saying you can enjoy both. It's just interesting because to us, really, they do feel very, very different. But back to the song, yeah, really good song. Nice emotion to it. Nice sort of deep meaning to it. Again, his voice fits really well with the heavy rock side of things, but I think also for these sort of more meaningful, not really emotional, but like sort of softer songs, it also fits quite nicely for those as well. And it would be definitely one I would happily have on a playlist, enjoy it when it comes on.
Okay. So then we had Animals. So this was very heavy right from the off. This is I've even classed this as a different type of song to all of the previous, even the first two, which were also heavy. I felt the singing style on this one felt different, almost a bit rock and roll to some extent. But the song itself didn't make an impression on me. It was fast, fast paced, fast singing, but it felt quite samey and just loud. So yeah, I wasn't so keen on this one.
Yeah, so I kind of put here, it's a bit different. It's sort of the chorus where I've put like that is singing. I've written here, he's not rapping, but he's sort of singing really fast, like he could have been rapping. And I said it felt, and maybe rock and roll was a good way to maybe explain it, I don't know. But yeah, it had again sort of, and I agree with you, a different feel to it. I've sort of put it sort of the same as the fast kind of rock that we've had before, but you're right, this one definitely did feel a bit different. And I think it's probably just down to the style of the singing and what maybe sort of singing about. This one felt a bit more, we'll have it with one of the other songs a bit later on, but here felt a bit more fun. Felt like, I'm sort of trying to debate. I said the other ones felt rocky for a reason. This one just felt trying to be different, just maybe having a bit more of a laugh with it potentially.
Okay. Then we had Saving Me. This one sounded very Nickelback voice-wise, unlike the previous song, which I felt, as I said, felt a bit different. This one sounds a bit more promising as I was listening to it. Feels more mainstream, as in, more suited to the masses, that are not just into the hard stuff. I could have checked this, a bit lazy. I put, was it released? Because it sounds like it should have been, if it wasn't. A decent song, very listenable, rocky, but not over the top like most of the others up to that point. So I was impressed with this one.
Yeah, I really like this one. Like you, a bit lazy. I haven't really checked to see if it was released. So I agree with you. This felt like it could have been released. And it may have been. I don't remember it being released in the UK, but it could have been on that side of the country. Yeah, I really, really like this one. I think I'll probably stand and say this might be actually my favourite song on the album. Something I'll definitely have on on a playlist. Again, like Photoshop, it's a softer, sort of more emotional, but that's it, kind of rock. And again, I think it's Chad's voice that really does it justice as well. You feel maybe that little bit of emotion to it. So yeah, really, really like this one.
So next one was Far Away. Put here, wow, like a really lovely start. Liking this so far. I've classed it as a soft rock ballad. Nice song. Wasn't expecting a song like this. Again, I've questioned it. Was it released? And I've put here best song so far.
Yeah, can't disagree. I've also put a little smiley face that I like this one as well. And yeah, as I said, it's just something about that I really enjoy listening to. Again, it almost feels like a love ballad, love rock ballad kind of thing. Again, I've put the same as the previous song. I feel like Chad's voice helps with the song, gives that sort of emotional side to it, even though I wasn't really picking up on the lyrics, but I just sort of felt like that. And just really, really nice to listen to. Yeah, I say this is what I realised. I think this side of Nickelback really is quite promising.
Yeah, I mean, probably not quite as emotional as some of the Spanish reactions we've been doing.
No, definitely.
Next one then was Next Contestant. It wasn't overly heavy, kind of mainstream. It's okay, better than some songs so far on the album, but nothing special. I thought from what I haven't written this down, I just remember it. Sort of the chorus was quite catchy. I can't remember exactly how it went, but it had that words next contestant in there. It's quite repeated quite a lot. So yeah, it was okay, this one.
Yeah. And I think the other thing with this song as well, I think, is it felt it was a bit of a shorter song maybe to some of the others. I think they're all generally about the same sort of length. It's not like they're really long songs or really short ones, but this one's more of one of the shorter ones. And again, I think like you were saying before, it has the rock feel, but again, maybe not as much as the first two tracks. A bit like with that Animal song, it felt that little bit sort of different here. I've written down here Limp Bizkit, and I think I sort of remember listening to him thinking it has that kind of, because Limp Bizkit was also kind of rock, but he was like sort of rock and rap kind of thing. Well, this, I said it had something to it, like a different sort of style of rock, kind of to make it sort of stand out really. So again, thought it was okay, but just still not as good as the previous two songs that we've had.
So then we had Side of a Bullet. Heavy metal start. This is too heavy for me. It's staying on one level though, and not really getting more intense. At least, like, that's a good thing for me. One of my least favourite songs on the album so far. I don't like the heavy metal instruments. However impressive they might be for those that indulge in that sort of music, but for someone who's not really into it, I just can't appreciate it. So yeah, this one wasn't for me.
Yeah, so again, this one has that sort of more metal side thing. Again, I haven't put a lot of notes there. Obviously, it's not one of my favourites on there, and that's where I was sort of really contrary with thinking about one of the previous ones I really like, that Save Me song. How different that is to this one. And that's why I sort of write down questions. What do Nickelback fans really, if they had to pick one, I said, I know obviously they can like both, what would they actually, what side of Nickelback do they really prefer and choose? Because again, like I said, these are songs I don't think they got sort of released, and I said it just seemed a bit more sort of methy and rocky. But then you have the soft one stuff, which is totally different. So if there are anyone's listening, they want to answer that question, please feel free to do so.
And that's like why I said I quite like the album. I appreciate the variety.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm not discrediting that there at all either. It's just it's because I said we like it when there's definitely variety in album, but I say it's like 50-50 pretty much of like the slow ones and the rock ones. So it's not like it's almost like, that's why I kept repeating, like almost like two different sides to what they do really.
So then we had If Everyone Cared. This was a nice start. Feels quite mainstream. Again, I've questioned it. Was this a released song? I didn't recognise it just because it felt like it could have been. It felt more like a kind of chart song. Now, I'm not overly keen on this one actually, even though it's not that rocky. Just felt a bit boring, but definitely not the worst song on the album.
Yeah, again, I haven't put a lot of headphones. Is now one of the, I'll put it here as the slower form of Nickelback here. Quite like it, but again, it's just not as good as the couple of other previous slow tracks that we've had.
So then we had Someone That You're With. Rocky, upbeat, but more rocky than metal, this one. I could actually see this one being a release song as well. Sort of describe it as a sort of rocky mainstream type of song, but just not really digging it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've put here. I said this is nice sort of rock music, but also very pop-like. So again, to what you're saying, could be quite commercial and could have been a release song. It may have been. Again, I don't think it was. Just said it's likable. It's definitely one of the more likable ones I've liked on the album. And I said it's just very, very pop-like.
So then we had the last song was Rockstar, and I seem to remember on the introduction I think you said you recognise this one. So it came on and thought, this sounds quite good, and then I realised, I know the song's familiar. So I sort of describe it as a sort of slow-paced rock song. Know it relatively well, maybe not quite as well as Photograph, but yeah, certainly heard it numerous times before. It's okay. I don't mind it, but I just felt there were better songs on the album.
Yeah, so like I said, I recognise this song beforehand and recognise it straight away. This goes back to sort of a country film. I think what I've realised about this particular song, in terms of like the tune and the music, that's pretty much the same. That doesn't change throughout. Everything's about that. It is more sort of about the lyrics. I've never really picked up on the lyrics too much before when I've ever heard it, but because I'm quite familiar with the song, and obviously I was having to listen to it and write a review on it, I sort of picked up on the lyrics a bit more, and it's actually a bit like a funny song, really. Not funny, but it's looking at the lighter side of things of being a rock star with the lyrics and stuff. So I really liked it in terms of on those side of things, actually picking up on the lyrics and it not being like a necessarily being a really catchy song, even though it was the last song on the album. It was in my head for a good few hours after listening to it. But yeah, like I said, a different song for the album, country-like, cool, fun lyrics, a good song for the album.
Okay, so how would you sum up?
Sum up again, sort of how it started. Like I said, it's an album of two sides, really, and it depends which side you like that you want to get the most out of it from there. And even though I didn't probably seem too accommodating about it at the start, I think your things as well. I agree. Like I said, it was an album that I hated. I enjoyed listening to it. It went quite quickly listening to it. Again, it is in relative a shortish album, but the point being is that I didn't feel I got bored of it, even though there were songs I didn't quite like so much. I felt I could listen to them and appreciate them, enjoy them in some respect, and overall would happily listen to the album again. But there are definitely distinctive songs that a style that I prefer of Nickelback that I would sort of take away for myself. But I still still really like the fact I picked this album to know that what Nickelback has to them, really. So yeah, I think overall a positive. I'll say it's a positive experience of the album.
Yeah, so for me, I was, like I said earlier, I was kind of liked it. Definitely positive as well for me. Yeah, there were songs that I didn't particularly like, but in a way, maybe that made me enjoy the songs that I did like even more, because maybe I listened to a couple of ones I wasn't so keen on, then suddenly a nice song came on. It's like, oh, you can appreciate that a bit more, maybe, when there's only a number of songs that you kind of like. I don't know. But yeah, for me, the biggest plus for me was, like I keep saying, it's the variety. Some people may see that as a negative. They may, as you said, may only put like one side of Nickelback, or I don't know. But for me, it worked. It kept me engaged with the album, because I've noticed quite a few albums that we've done, I kind of get bored towards the second half of it, because you kind of same kind of stuff that's going on, not much of a change to it. And if you're not enjoying it, then if it's not your sort of music and it's just continuously like that, then you're not going to enjoy it. Whereas with this, yeah, like I said, certain songs I didn't particularly like. It was basically because it was too heavy for me. There was plenty of songs in there that I did like as well. So no, that was good positive experience. So thank you for. I was going to say thank you for the request. there was no request for that one, but we do have some requests. We do have some requests though, so we won't be doing a pick for quite a long time, hopefully. So see you for the next one. Bye-bye.